And I wanted to show that I could take the audience on a journey. And I thought, what better way of doing that than doing French New Wave? French New Wave is a style of film that revolutionized American cinema. It was really started by four guys that were critics that they called the Young Turks, Francois Truffaut, Jean-Luc Godard, and thank you. And so what they did is they came up with a quicker way to tell stories than the Hollywood system. And so they came up with the jump cut and breaking the fourth wall and the montage. And people like Quentin Tarantino, who holds French New Wave film to such high standard, named his own company a band apart after French New Wave film. And Martin Scorsese did Taxi Driver. And I could go on and on. And this was the influence. And so I thought maybe doing a film like this and making it my own, this could give me some attention.
It was definitely a struggle to bring the Lovers life to fruition. First of all, I didn't even know that I could write. So I wrote a book. Then I didn't even know that I could produce, and ended up producing, and was completely inspired by Chris Perry, my partner, my business partner, to do all those things. Yeah, very inspiring to do that. So, you know, the best came out of me to do it, but once we began the project, honestly, we just grabbed a number out of the air for our budget. We had no idea what we were getting into or what we were doing. We were completely green, very new to the game, and we relied very heavily on our teammates to, you know, our crew members to guide us and help us, and our director, Emmy Award-winning director, Renee Alaquiva, to help us out with this project. And when I tell you it was a struggle, it was a struggle. I'm a project manager by nature, business analyst, and I'm in the IT world, so managing projects came very easily to me. That piece of it was like second nature. What was hard was understanding all of the moving parts that go into filmmaking. If it were easy, everybody would do it. There are so many moving parts to it, and this was a huge production. At the end of the day, I had 105 people under me for The Lover's Life. We filmed 19 scenes in 3 days. Pre-production was 6 months long, and the financial struggle is so real. We're still paying for it. You know, as an artist and creator, filmmaker, seriously, we funded the whole thing out of our own pockets. Nobody gave us anything. We worked really hard for it, Chris and I did, and we sacrificed everything for it. A lot of the other struggle was not seeing family, not being able to see friends, because I worked during the day and then I would work on the project at night. And I worked on the weekends, I worked in my sleep, and I worked and I worked and I worked. I would hold conference calls at work on a 1-800 number because we were remote in Houston, and we had crew members in Los Angeles and Pittsburgh. Wow. So I would hold standing meetings every Friday to keep everybody on the same page, all the way up to production. So, like I said, the struggle was definitely real with this. I think I hit every pitfall that a producer could experience during this project, and I learned a lot. And I'm better for it. So, but once I put those headphones on and I stepped on set, I fell in love, and this is what I want to do for the rest of my life. This is me. So it was definitely a struggle, but a very worthwhile one. And we're both grateful to be here. So thanks for having us.
Kudos to you and your crew.
Thank you.
That's a lot of people to manage.
Thank you.
And different locations around the country. So.
Thank you.
Silent applause to you right now, because my film project, when I had the conversation with my daughter and then I wanted to do something about it, when I came up with this, I took it to 5 filmmaker friends of mine who sit on the North International Film Festival board with me, and I told them, we have to make something, we have to speak out. Another boy just got shot, you know, and they're like, you're right, let's do something. And then they all told me, well, Raymond, write it. We need a script. And I told them, no, we don't. We're 6 directors in a room. You can't whisper in my ear my intention in this scene and have help me achieve that as another director? Like, you need to do it now. Man, they got on my nerves with their stuff. They really upset me though. So, you know, I'm not to diminish anything you did. I shot this in 3 days, in the middle of the night, up by myself, because I had to show them that we could tell this story. So I'm like on my porch with like 6 changes of clothes, just changing, and I'm just know my neighbors looking out the window about to call the cops on me. But nobody did. And I shot so much stuff that I was able to tell this story, like, and I'm still working on cuts because there's more to tell. I mean, I'm so concerned about this post-traumatic stress disorder in police officers as a black man that I have to keep addressing. It's like, police are so dysfunctional now, they're shooting each other and blaming other people.
Yeah.
They just killed a cop in New York while they were trying to kill some guy, but the cops killed the cop. So we are, I don't know, black men are looking at y'all and like, I feel like we're in danger. You know, they're killing lots of people of color. So this is my struggle. It is an ongoing struggle. And in some senses, I believe like the type of things that I speak about, they're gonna be mad at me. Because there's a lot to address, and I have an obligation to tell the stories of black folks during this time to chronicle our struggles. You know, I don't want it to be forgotten because as a college graduate now, when I look in books, I see how they've changed our history. We must document this stuff. We must tell these stories, and these struggles have to be remembered. So here I am, I'm fighting, and this is my way to fight through our medium, telling stories and showing it on film so that people can connect to it.
The struggle for me, well, as a filmmaker, I mean, you have lived until you go into this venture, you go into struggle. That's going to happen. But the struggle for me was, one, trying to find a guy that could portray this character. And then I had my eyes set on this guy that was at the New York Film Academy, and then this producer that I had worked with. I said, okay, it's top of the year, I'm gonna call these people, and we're gonna get going and start shooting by June. And everybody told me yes, and then June came, and nobody would answer my phone. So I'm sitting in the barber shop, and I had already said, I'm going to make a film. I had my script, and I had, myself. So I'm sitting in the barber shop getting a haircut, and my barber told me, hey, you should look at my boy. And I'm thinking to myself, man, get out of here. I'm a seasoned director. You want to look at your boy. Yeah. But you have to know that barbershops, especially black barbershops, are a hub to our community. And everybody, even cats that don't have hair, go to the barbershop, get their beard, take care right. Right, Joe? Yeah. So, my barber turned me on to Travis, and we had a 40-page script that we shot in 5 days, and we just went to Atlanta and got it done. Then coming back and then doing the post on it. I think the whole project took about 8 months, and it's just a struggle that gives rewards once you're done. It's like a labor of love.
Yes.
Any questions, or do you want me to keep going? Any questions from the audience?
Sir?
Oh, the blue wall?
Yes.
You touched on something that I talk to people a lot about, and I hope you expand on it in your project. You brought up the union rep. It's so quiet, it's glassed over, but I personally feel as a retired firefighter who sat across the table in negotiations, that union rep is the key to all of the problems, period. And I hope you expand in your future to dig deeper in that side of it. Because everyone blames the chief, the mayor, but that union rep is quiet, but they're holding, they're like a puppet master. Just my personal opinion. Thank you. Thank you for your piece. I love it.
You're very welcome.
I loved all three.
I do too. But yeah, so the
Give it up for the all three.
But that guy he was part of the conspiracy. All of the officers are labeled as a brick, Pink Floyd. You see the numbers on their chest. This conversation that was had between them, we are not privy to. Someone asked me, how did you get the language for the police? So I'm been locked up a lot. I remember. You know, so it's just an understanding that their interest is to protect themselves and what they do, and to have the ability to do what they want to do. But they are public servants, and it is our job to hold them to that. If we can, they're so far out there, like, you know, but it's to show the conspiracy behind the scenes, the conversations that they have amongst each other. The Blue family is more important than society itself as a whole.
Okay, so if I shot in, let's say New York, and a guy comes down the street speaking French, somebody in New York knows French. If I shot, because I was throwing out these other places, who's going to New Orleans? So somebody in New Orleans is going to pick up on that. But Atlanta is like the Mecca, the Black Mecca, right? And the music scene there kind of lends to Atlanta as its own world. And so the diction that they have, right? My dad's from Atlanta, and my cousins, we always laugh about how they talk, how that twang that they have. I know it anywhere. And so they are pretty insulated in how they move and how they talk and what they do. We'll go to the Candy Lady and, you know, instead of going to stores and these things. I thought if I brought it there and I was in that world, people there, I'm sure somebody, we go to Atlanta, somebody knows French in Atlanta, but in my head, those people in the hood that know this guy wouldn't know the French, you know. And so the vagrant brother, he knows it because he's lived life. He's been discarded, but he lived life. And so what better way than the OG than to school this brother on the language that he's speaking and the importance of not desecrating that language and desecrating yourself by continuing this path he was on. And so I chose Atlanta because I just think Atlanta's cool.
In short.
I really chose Atlanta too because I wanted to tap into their hip hop culture. A lot of the guys that you saw on there are part of what's called the Dungeon family that produced Goody Mob, Outkast, Slim Calhoun, and Bone. Those were the two guys. I'm gonna put this up on World Star. They were part of Goody Mob, Outkast, part of that music culture that established their rap foundation. Then we also had the brother that did the spoken word. He was also a part of that Dungeon family. He was in, if you listen to Outkast of Criminal, he has a song on there with spoken word, and then they did ATL. He's doing spoken word in that film. So I also wanted to tap into the culture that was there, that I knew of and had access to. So that's it right there.
Thank you. I wanted to address the lady who did the love story. There was, at the early part of the film, this kind of focus on the pregnancy test. And then there was the dialogue, well, not really a dialogue, but there was seemingly what I was expecting to see was a little bit more of a discussion between the mother and the daughter with regard to what it might mean if she got pregnant and went to term with a child at this age. Because I've had so many situations in my own family with females in my family who would come up with that simple rationale. Oh, I'll work it out, or I'll figure it out. Never quite realizing what it really means to bring another life onto this planet and the responsibility that it takes. Because being a single father myself, my entire life got turned around when my son came onto the planet. I am out and partying, and the discos and all that stuff came to a screeching halt to me. I was just hoping that within the context of your film, that there would have been a little bit more of an elaborate discussion between mom and daughter, because mom is speaking from experience. She's speaking from wisdom. Daughter is idealistic. And I was hoping that I would see a little bit more of that in your film. What do you have any thoughts about addressing that as the film plays itself out?
Sure. So first let me say that The Lover's Life is based on a true story. So the young lady looking at the pregnancy test in the very beginning of the film was me. That happened. That conversation with my mother happened. Choosing life also happened. Figuring it out also happened. As the show progresses and as this series progresses, you will see more of a relationship dynamic between Nina and her mother, and you will see the building of that. Those conversations they'll be heavier, more in detail. That dynamic will pan out as the series goes along. So we are scripted for more episodes. We also have a story Bible for several seasons. But the first couple of years of the show itself will focus on the dynamic between Nina and her mother. So yes, a lot did stop, but not completely. Did I figure it out? Absolutely. I would like to use The Lover's Life as a platform for young women and men as well to inspire them not to give up. I sit here as a producer, as a first-time producer, writer, and creator, and mother. My son is sitting in the audience, and mother. And I will say this, not only did my life not stop, I have a bachelor's degree in information systems management, a master's degree in leadership and information technology from Duquesne University in MBA, and I have 12 credits towards my PhD. I have a book under my belt and now a film under my belt, and I can sit here and say that if I can do that raising 3 children, anybody can. So I really don't want to focus so much on the poor decision making of getting pregnant, because the backstory is my mother was a heroin addict my whole life as well. And when she, was diagnosed with cancer, that was sort of like a double blow. So not only was I a teenage mother, I was an orphan as well, because I didn't have any parents and I was alone raising my daughter, doing what I had to do. So the choice to choose life came from a place of survival as well, because I knew that I knew where I was, and I knew what I was looking at in my everyday, day-to-day reality. And it's very unfortunate for a lot of young women who are in situations like that, who become pregnant, who aren't protected, who no one oversees them, no one protects them. There's little or no guidance in their lives, and they have to figure it out. So I think I did a pretty good job of figuring it out, because God just had me and still does. So.
Do we have any other questions? Any other questions?
Yeah, The Lover's Life is a pilot for a TV series. So when I was writing the book, I kind of manifested it, not even knowing the book was highly personal. I wrote the book and not even with the intentions of publishing it. It was just something that was highly personal. I wanted to keep it close to my chest for a while. And while I was writing it, though, I kind of spoke it out loud and called Chris and said, we should turn this into a TV series. And he said, maybe a movie. And I said, no, seriously, a TV series. There's 11 chapters in here. It could easily be turned into a TV series. And so fast forward 2 years later, we're in Houston, a hot Sunday evening, on our way to go pick up some Thai food. And he looks at me and he says, we should make a movie. And I said, okay. And he said, no, I'm serious. We should make a movie. And I said, all right, we'll make a movie then. And he says, no, really. Honestly, we're looking for networks that, will have a place for The Lover's Life, networks that are looking for our content, because not every network is looking for the content that we have.
What was your process?
Oh, wow. So Your Mom's House Incorporated, which is our director, Ime Alaquiva, that's his company, his production multimedia company. They spearheaded casting here. Caitlin Walker, who was our assistant director, she was our casting director here. So they held a casting call here in Pittsburgh, and we were only actually able to cast half of the cast members that we were looking for here because for lack of a better word, Pittsburgh is not the most diverse city. So it was kind of hard to find the diverse cast members that we were looking for. Like, for example, casting myself was very difficult because Christina Cooper has a certain look, and we were looking for that, and we weren't finding it here. And so our crew members out in Los Angeles were able to find her. So casting was twofold. Held here in Pittsburgh as well as Los Angeles. And then, you know, in this business, it's all about who you know as well. So one person would refer the next person, and then, oh, so-and-so could play this part, and such could play that part. And so that's kind of how we found everyone. But it was highly personal. At the end of the day, Chris and I had a very difficult time finding someone to play ourselves because it is autobiographical. So when you're looking for a reflection of yourself, it's not just the way that a person looks. You're looking for those nuances and those details and those qualities and those characteristics that you yourself carry. You're looking for that in the person that's going to play you, and that was very difficult to do. But we're very grateful to have Christina Cooper. She is an Emmy-nominated, award-winning actress and a director and producer in her own right as well. And she's also a model, and grateful to have her play myself, and Isaiah Jarrell, who is extremely talented and very funny, from Chicago originally and currently resides in Los Angeles, to play Chris. And so we had a very difficult time finding them, but we're grateful to have them.
So with French New Wave, like I said, they created the montage. And I think what I was able to do, one, is being able to do 40 pages in 5 days, is call on some of that 2-day production that I'm used to working in. Music videos, when we were doing them, budgets were like $150,000, $200,000, and we were shooting on film. And so it's all hands. You have all your departments and whatnot. Then the budgets dropped, and it went to this DSLR thing where you come and there's maybe 3 people. That's crew. So I was able to then take the structure that I had from the bigger productions and then take where technology shifted and you're able to shoot with a DSLR or one of these red cameras. And we had a 3-man crew. It was myself, a camera guy, and a grip. And we shot all of that using my music video experience. And then being able to minimalize, still getting the image across, but not having the big production. We're supposed to have a limousine for Javicia when he did the dream sequence. And then it was going to go to this big hoopty car that we lost. And so we just used the production van. She's sitting in a production truck. And we just shot tight. And it started raining that day. And I was like, rain is production value. You have to look at flipping it around.
That's right.
You know, and so I just used what I knew when I couldn't get something in music video, how to make it work for my film. Yeah, it gave me great experience. That's what it did. So the start of the film. Yeah, it's a long answer. I'm trying to condense it. Okay. So the start of the film is really language, perception. This guy was an asshole. He was a dirty, scummy guy. He recycled condoms. He didn't care about nobody. And everyone in the neighborhood knew him, right? But the moment he starts to talk French, it's a whole nother look. The metaphor of it, and I said this in someone, sometimes we think other people's ice water is colder than yours. It's the perception that this guy's something else because he spoke French. But he got drunk and woke up speaking French. So then what we did was when he started to speak English, we flipped it, made the words in French because he was still lost he hadn't,
Lost in translation.
yeah, he was still lost in translation. He hadn't succumbed to his experience. He was still trying to speak French. So I can't speak it, you can read it, right? And so in that world, the hood guys are speaking the King English in translation, playing words. It was only until he realized, I don't need this liquor. I'm accepting who I am. And then he makes the ultimate, he sacrifices himself for sobriety and takes an ass whooping. Before, this dude's pulling the condom out the trash, right? Could have bought the condom when he bought the liquor. But he sacrifices himself, and in that, there's no more subtitles, there's French being spoken, but you don't read it because it's reality. And he's come of age in a sense. Lesson learned.
Very cool.
Fantastic, fantastic. Nina Brooks, Raymond Spencer, John Dr. T. Tucker. Thank you all for coming to the Black Bottom Film Festival. This is our third installment. Hopefully we will be around next year. Tell all your friends how much of a good time that you had.